Всем привет! Сегодня продолжаем проходить вампира. Патрончики все взяли. Так, это главный врач, это рассказать что-то надо.
Evening, Edgar. Could I get your professional opinion?
Please speak, but I have something important to tell you.
This strain of flu, it's very different from the one I saw in Europe. It's downright peculiar.
Really? What makes you say that?
I've just looked at the blood of one of our recently deceased.
I see. Do you have anything more to go on?
This disease spreads and looks like the Spanish flu, but its effects differ greatly. The London strain is different from the continental one.
This is very interesting. Did you find something else?
Нам удалось же или нет? Я не помню. Если да, значит рассказать все.
Unlike the flu, the infected begin to show an increase in outwardly aggressive behavior. More than simple agitation. Once docile people become violent.
You mean like rabies? Is there a chance we could create a vaccine, Jonathan, like Pasteur? By the stole, that would be smashing.
There's a lot we're not seeing here. But it is spreading, and quickly. If we don't act, the whole city could be lost.
But Jonathan, we've a fantastic opportunity sitting right here in front of us. A weapon of choice.
What on earth do you mean?
Why, you, my dear boy. With your expertise and your blood, we could isolate the properties that course through your veins. Think about the possibilities.
But the risk of infection using vampire blood could compound the situation.
I know, but your blood now carries remarkable regenerative properties. With our minds and your blood, there's nothing we couldn't cure.
We'll discuss this more later. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But as I said, I needed to talk to you. I have some rather bad news.
Yes?
I'm afraid it's your sister.
My sister?
She's to be buried this evening at Whitechapel Cemetery. Your mother published the obituary this morning.
I see.
Так мы же
I'm
ее ради
sorry,
убили.
Jonathan. Please accept my condolences.
Печально. Так, у тебя что-нибудь есть тут? Что с мне есть можно? Нет.
I never thought I would have to attend my murdered sister's funeral. Mary, I can't forgive myself. I'll find the truth about what
Крыс
happened
жрать,
to
крыс
us.
мы жрать не будем.
I swear.
Какого левела вы? 14-го. Надо стрелка убить. Урон подняли, кстати, неплохо. выносливость кончилась. Все, там выносливость. Не за всех, да, упало все что-то? Ништяки какие-то. Здоровяк. Который ягод стрелок. Побыстренько забрать его. Да дай ты по нему тычку. Пожрали его. Стрелки это вообще с крышей конкретные. О май гад. Хорошо.
My dear sister, I don't know if I have the strength.
Сейчас вот упыри полезут по-любому. Ну да. А, тут телепортатор считается уже обычным мобом, нифига себе. Ну, теперь с каких моментов? Телепортатор он был боссом первым. А тут он считается обычным мобом. А, ну у него хпшки не очень много, понял. Почему? Хорошо. Фига это пошнулся. Случайно. Я раньше не хотел, даже не смотрел сюда в эту сторону. Я бы, скорее всего, пробежал мимо бы. Не забежал туда бы. А что тут? Могила осматривать? Нам куда-то налево идти надо.
Since I can't reveal myself to my mother now, I must find a discreet spot to attend the ceremony.
Похороны идут.
I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. We commend unto thy hands of mercy, most merciful Father, the soul of our sister departed, and we commit her body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
I kill my Mary and stick her here in this cold, god-awful place?
These are the legal requirements for the epidemic, madam.
Так мы ее сожрали.
Avery, I feel so tired. Please take me home.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Mary. What have I done? If I could only change one thing.
Ну, как понимаешь, у него глаза красные-то, блин. У него вены все.
This is a nightmare.
Ну, видно, что он типа нездоровый, как минимум.
Jonathan, there is nothing you can do but accept it.
What brings you here?
I thought you could use the company. I am so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
She was a good person. Vibrant, full of life. She was kindness incarnate, my Mary.
You're a good person, Jonathan. And a young Ekon. A newborn cast into the night without so much as a candle to guide your way.
She had been scouring the most dangerous parts of London in search of me. And it led to her death.
Jonathan, don't.
I still hear her last thoughts. They echo in my head. Her mind shattered, and it haunts me.
Jonathan, stop. Listen carefully. You must come to terms with this. You must learn to live with what happened.
I'm learning. Every night is a new lesson. What I am, what I must do to survive. But my sister, she shouldn't have suffered because of my weakness.
Don't you see? You're doing the work of our enemies, feeding your remorse. We are weakest when we grieve, and the guilt blurs our senses.
And so this is why you're here. To warn me. You've felt this pain yourself. You too have endured this.
I don't want to lose you, Jonathan. I've lost so many friends. Loved ones I cherished. Pray for Mary's forgiveness, if you must.
Thank you, my lady. I will.
Good. But be careful. If I found you here, others may too.
What should I do then?
St. Mary's Church is not far from here. Go there and make your peace. Find the solace you need.
My lady wants me to
Такое себе
confess.
предложение.
No, Jonathan. It's you who wants to confess, I think.
Свечка горит, я думаю, что тут сверкает. Ну, церковь так церковь, пошли в церковь. Пройти здесь можно? Можно. Наверх можно подняться. А, зомбятин сидел, нифига себе. Так, ну, надо восстановить. Живем его. Попробуем добить сразу этого. Нет, не хватит выносливости. Спамить не хотел, единичку придется. ХПшку остановить. Откуда ты взял? Еще двое взялись. Чё, блин? А эти 16 уровней все, нифига себе. Это ульта такая, серьезно? Она бесполезна максимально. Я его, кстати, даш прожал, не сработал. Надо укусить кого-то, потому что крови нет вообще. Хилься. Сволочуга. Опять жрут, сволочи. Тегут со всех сторон, да, это вообще максимально неудобно. Сейчас кровь восстановим. Хоть особо у нас не потратилось. Но эта ситуация не главное, что мы кровь восстанавливаем. Это главное, что мы выносливость восстанавливаем. Все, остался 1-1 я с ним. Телепортатором этим. Все, забрали сволочугу. Битва была такая достойная, да, тут много повылазило. Вампиршек. А что наверху? Стучать можно?
Hello, sir. Sorry to disturb you at this hour. I'm a doctor inquiring about the epidemic. May I come in?
A doctor, you say? No, thank you.
Понятно.
All right. I shan't insist. Goodbye for now, sir.
Гипноз 3 уровня у нас нету пока. А как прокачивать гипноз, я тоже пока не понял. Монетки. Через закоулок.
And off to church he goes, a newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you? Make yourself known.
Newborn, you reek of guilt and pointless compassion.
Гора огромный.
Shed your skin, forget your old weaker self.
What do you want from me?
А, он тоже вампир.
Ascalon does not approve of lone wolves who bring unwanted eyes to our pastures.
So your name is Ascalon.
Ascalon's will is vampire law. Learn them, abide by them, or
Гора
I shall
огромный.
return as your judge and jury.
Жесть, он огромный.
These immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
Фига себе. У него брони еще дофига. Против него огнестрел надо брать. Да, огнестрел хорошо против него работает. купили, сволочи.
This man stunned with his faith. His crucifix.
Хотят по-хорошему переключиться обратно на пол. И, ну тут уже пофиг.
Good news.
Добили так его. Тут еще есть. А, стрелок. Я сожру ему как раз. Помоечка. Цветочек. А, серьезно, вампире пойдем в церковь, да? Интересно.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
May I help you, child? You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold. I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
А,
Church
ну мне кажется,
shut
пропустить его,
by
прогасить.
order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
Мне нужен собеседник. Это очень лично, да, на личное.
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
Хотя бы усопшие, это личное.
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest. As you seem quite adamant.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
Ну, она
She
странная.
was my sister.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
Ну да, скажем, убили.
She was murdered.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
Она умерла за меня, я виноват. Ну блин, как
She
по факту.
died because of me. How do you think I feel?
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What words would you like to say to your poor sister?
Я найду виновных, клянусь, это не я. Простите.
I killed you. There's no excuse. My dear Mary. Forgive me.
You have been heard, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
И все, что ли? Ради этого я сошел?
There. I confessed to that vicar. Do I feel better? Only
Опять
time
стоит,
will tell.
этого нет. А ему надо помогать, я забыл.
Good evening, Doctor.
Лечить
Can I
чем-то.
help you?
Или он здоровый.
Have you any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
It appears the dispensary is now a major source of contagion in Whitechapel. Someone should do something about it, but no one cares.
Так, последнее расследование.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Так, личные вопросы пока не открыты, подсказки. Ну-ка, по
Do you
медосмотру.
need assistance?
Save your time for the people who need you here, Doctor.
Не нужно, да, ему, окей.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Это священник, надо точно помочь. По нему видно.
Good evening, Mr. Whittaker.
It's Father Whittaker, my son. So,
Тут спросить нечего. Личные вопросы тоже не открылись.
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
if you propagate the devil's work, you'll perish by the devil's work. Such is the law of the Lord.
Так, давай попробуем помочь
Don't
ему.
you fear getting sick yourself?
I've been touched by God's grace. I am perfectly healthy.
Тоже ему нельзя
I
что-то,
have had
понял.
enough for tonight. Goodbye.
У нас банки с собой есть. Чтобы они не пропадали просто так. Хоть куда-то их применить. Может, вам помочь можно чем?
You again? What do you want this time?
Тут болтать нечем. Личный вопрос тоже не открылись, ничего.
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
I saw her wandering the streets. Yesterday, I think. She didn't recognize me. People say she's lost it. It's a sad story.
Can I
Медосмотр.
offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe. I don't get sick.
Я если кто болеет, окей.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Тоже помогу. Где торгаш?
Fancy buying some?
You never...
Новый диалог не появился. Подсказка тоже не открылась никакая.
Do you have any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
It appears those who dare to get elf care from that bitch are never seen again. Something fishy going on there, for sure.
Так, сколько денег есть какие-то
Show me what you have.
торговать? 30 монет. Херня полная.
Fancy buying something, sir?
Так,
Do you
медосмотр.
need help, sir?
I only need you to purchase something from my shop, sir.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Никому помогать не надо. Да ладно. Так, как там включить режим? С этим мы не знакомы. Переутомление.
Good evening, Christina.
Shit.
А, это. Местная, блин.
What do you know about
Древней
Nurse
профессии
Crane and her
девушка.
dispensary?
Two girls I know went to the dispensary
Секундочку. Погнали дальше.
yesterday. Nobody has seen them since. I worry about them in case bad things happen.
Do you need
Медосмотр.
any assistance, Miss Popper?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
У нас есть такой, да?
I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
Мы помогли хоть кому-то.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself. As
Тебе надо,
well
по
as-
идее, выздороветь, да? Восстановление идет у ней. Хорошо. Тут еще есть. Походу больше никого. Ладно. Мне отходить надо в бар еще. Как в бар попасть, я пока не понимаю. Блин, мне так и настоял этих тупых. Подожди, событие тут есть какое-то. Пошли обратно. В 100 метрах какое-то есть событие. Ну, тут очень фигово, что это мини-карты. Прям максимально фигово. Ориентироваться прям сложно. Что случилось-то? Разграбили этот? И сейф закрыт. Так я на метке прям. Это именно сюда зайти надо? В здание? А, зомбятина жрет тут уже. Ну, они слабенькие вроде. А, только слабенькие. Вас пожрем мы. Сейчас сожрут меня нафиг. А все, пизда мне. Да, заспамили. Фигово. Еще фигово, что я не знаю, где я рислусь. Я пожалел это. Свои скиллы за это делаю. Не знаю, что жалеть тут в этой игре. Надо было ультануть, да и все. А я пожалел. Ну, тут забрать ничего нельзя. А, с крови нету нифига. Где крыса? Тут копейки, но восстановить можно. Хоть не с пустой крысы, с пустой этой пойдем. Кровушка к ним. Ладно, давай не будем жалеть ничего. Вот и все. Скиллы не пожалел, людей надавал. Выносливость. Так, выделяем этого. А мы копьем тоже прокачивали, да? Ничего не путаю. Сука, увернулся, но не до конца. Заморозили его. Все, хорошо. Все в КД ушло. Неужели это наш подруга стала вампиром? Ну да. Мы оставили жить, и она стала вампиром. Фига, же 23 уровня. А мы ее не убьем. А до чертового уровня, во-первых, еще какие-то, блин, яды. Фига себе. Да, сейчас попозже прийти надо. На это событие. Надо было оставлять ее живых, короче. Ой, не надо оставлять ее живых, было убивать надо было. Но кто знал, что она боссом станет? местным. Ну то пошли по сюжетке дальше. Привет, мужики. А, священники теперь будут на каждом ходу? Фига себе. Выносливость. Так, ладно, священник. У него очень много хпшки. О май гад. Почти добили, ладно. Ой-ой-ой-ой. А хилиться-то нечем. О, работает у него. Фу. Или справились. Ничего, на каждом шагу вот эти священники, блин. Это прям максимально печально. Они сильные. Кровь смотреть надо. Хорошо, зарезали. Теперь тоже зарезать надо. Блин, священник он опять стоит. И так тут еще ходит, да. Это фигово. Я согнал двоих. Я убил двух, да? Не, против него реально надо брать этот пистолет. Ах ты, сучка. Перезаряжаемся. Жалко, нельзя несколько оружий поставить на правую кнопку, или можно? А, можно. Как переключаться между ними? Сейчас ружье. Что-то непонятно. Давай кол сюда. А сюда ружье. Я не понимаю, как переключаться между ними.
Remember you.
fear be gone. I would harm no child.
Фига тут глюканы пошли.
This is your doing. You made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land. You are our champion.
Кто ты?
Tell me what you are.
I am the whitened bones and blackened soil. The land made blood coursing through thy veins.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Seek truth, my champion. Defeat the serpent of knowing with iron spur.
Че, все, что ли? То есть диалог?
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave. So the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Я не видел ни разу.
Colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
А, этот кого мы спасли.
Are you a doctor too? Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue. What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked? No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor. Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses? Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
Чего вы
An
боитесь?
interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh. Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself. How did you get this job? After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Так, встречались?
Have we met before? I don't think so, sir. Why? When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead. Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Она мертва.
Do you work here alone? Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open. Why do you have to watch these bodies? Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens. Why close the hospital's main morgue? It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave. Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh. The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
Ну, красавчик.
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused. Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could. It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana. It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reed. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now. You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands. You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reed. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Так, тут все. Личные вопросы.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir,
Что существует, мне кажется?
everything decays.
Такой себе
If I
вопрос.
was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed, I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Так, все, по идее, да? Смотрим его.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, Doctor. But perhaps it is because I, too, am used to the smell of the dead.
Фигня.
Please show
Торговать?
me what you have
Что
to
они там
say.
есть на продажу?
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Железо. Блин, у нас денег особо нет, чтобы это купить. Только по одной штучке купить можем.
Never ceases to amaze me how you...
Сундук не запертый.
I cannot enter.
Дверь заперта. Там трупы. Если туда особо ходить смысла нету. Опиум. И здесь трупы лежат, да? Письмо какое-то. Этот труп похож на этого бандюгана с того района. За тарами вроде новых диалогов таких не должно быть. По-моему. Говорится, что отреспавнились коробки, нет? Проверить. Нет, походу. Он с кем-то орёт там.
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCallum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
Ну, понятно. Будем скоро с ним воевать.
Jonathan. This is sacred ground. Neutral territory. And I just had the carpet cleaned.
По нему видно реально красные глаза, блин.
By the sacred stone, this is very bad news. Bad news indeed.
Говорить. А с коммунистией опять ничего нельзя, да, тут? Ладно, болтать.
What happened?
The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing. This has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
Надо установить репутацию, да.
We cannot have the people lose faith in this institution. This hospital is their only hope.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal. It would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan. She was Miss Harriet Jones. I found
А это
her
где там
room.
пожилая такая лежала, интрига сплетала.
Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
Опять не
You want to restore peace in the hospital again?
Jonathan, please, I can't rely on anyone else. And this concerns you as it involves vampires. Someone has taken advantage of our more liberal tendencies here.
In what way?
Jonathan, I may turn my head when you or her ladyship indulge, but I will not allow this place to become a nest for street feeders.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man.
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you
мы
realize
спасли
what that could
вампира.
mean for us?
Rest assured, I will protect you and your staff.
McCullum is a fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, I will put an end to this.
У нас опыта нет особо, косарик. Мы особо ничего не прокачаем.
Sean Hampton lives and
Подкопить.
breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks.
Я хочу и банки скрафтить, если можно. Банки где тут? На эту одну хватит. На эту одну хватит. На новенькую мне не хватает. На это тоже не хватает. Значит, пока не крафтим больше ничего. По улучшениям. На фиолетового топора нам не хватает ничего. Так разобрать. Только эту парашу можно разобрать. Топор улучшить там что не хватает? Деталик. Тоже не хватает. Пистолет до зеленого тоже не хватает. Пол не улучшается больше. Подожди, скорость атаки. Дистанция оглушения. Оружие ближнего боя для левой руки. Оглушение 15. Подожди, а дубинка-то получается лучше, чем пол. И нас на нее хватает улучшения. Улучшение 20 будет. Давай попробуем поменять. Ее прокачивать можно. Меньше мысли тратить на оглушение. Давай попробуем с дубинкой побегать теперь. Персонаж убираем на дубинку. Посмотрим. Игруха прям прикольная, атмосферная. Ну да, бойня, вот она.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Нового ничего не появилось. Нового ничего не появилось.
What can you tell me about the recent events in the hospital?
That Mr. Hampton killed Miss Jones in her room, then ran away.
And did you see all this?
No. I was working by the tents when it all happened. I only entered the room when they asked me to clean up the blood.
Where is Miss Jones's body?
I don't know. I'd imagine the morgue. It all happened so quickly.
Did you see Sean Hampton leave the hospital?
I think I saw a silhouette exiting the hospital gates.
А,
after
это
the
тот, кто
shouting
сидел
started.
около... Все, понял.
At first I thought it was someone who was just
Это
scared.
тот, кто
but
сидел около ее палаты как раз.
maybe it was him.
Он стал вампиром, получается. Так, что-то есть?
Do you
там?
require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
Ну, всё,
Goodbye,
тут.
nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Кому-то помочь надо. Здоровье, здоровый гражданин. Ничего не болеет. Ничего не болеет. Ты там тоже ничего не болеешь. Ну, за него 8000 опыта дают. Ой, 8000, блин. 850, это вообще бесполезно. Вот этот сидел, да, тут?
What on earth happened here?
Что сделать нельзя. Это намекаешь, что сажать их можно, наверное, этих упырей. Мы жрать их, конечно, не будем. Ничем не болеет, ничем не болеет. Ну, все, кого вылечить, мы, похоже, вылечили уже в нашей больнице. Ладно. Сажать мы, похоже, вот этого можем. Ну, пациентов, грубо говоря, сожрать можем. Просто там говорит, что чем больше жрут пациентов, тем хуже становится. Ничем не болеет, ничего не болеет. Никто ничего не болеет. Ну-ка, ты сейчас скажешь нам?
Oh, Jonathan, I cannot believe my eyes. Poor woman, butchered by some savage scowl.
Yes, and I'm afraid I'm at least partially responsible. The man, the Scal, I brought him here.
Jonathan, how could you say such a thing?
Forgive me if I feel despondent, for there seems to be no end to the suffering and death that surrounds us.
I'm always here for you, Jonathan.
What do you know of Ascalon? I was threatened by a creature, a vampire in Whitechapel, stating I had to obey the law of conduct.
What more can you tell me about him?
He was bigger than a man, huge in fact. He seemed to radiate violence. I thought he was going to tear me apart. Then he vanished.
Fergal, the executioner of Ascalon. You were fortunate he was not after you, but rather out doing his master's bidding.
What is Ascalon?
The Ascalon Club are the most powerful vampires in Britain and exert tremendous influence. Take my advice and stay well away.
Тут совет вампирский.
I have experienced a certain difficulty when faced with holy symbols or trying to enter religious buildings. Have you?
Now that's quite a question. I don't know why, but yes, it has happened to me.
Is this a sign? The hand of God in action? Are we repellent unto heaven?
I don't have the answers, Jonathan. But I believe superstition and magic is just fact awaiting the lens of science.
Aren't you frightened?
Very little scares me, my dear. To be compelled to avoid symbols of faith does not concern me.
Have you embraced this woman, like the other patient, this Mr. Renfield?
Her name was Amelia. And no, I did not kill her. I vowed a very long time ago that I would never take another life, unless they ask.
Is there sufficient vitality in the blood of the sick and dying patients?
Yes, Jonathan. The hunger gnaws at me every waking hour. Frankly, I'm starving.
Temptation surrounds us. Rich, vital. How can you resist?
Over the years, any pleasure I once gleaned from feeding is long gone. I drink for sustenance. And though I still thirst for more, I restrain myself.
Ну, старается хотя
Thank you,
бы.
my lady.
Так, а труп смотреть можно? Нет, не дают. Но ящиков новых нету. Подлутаться тоже ничего не дают. Это где? А, это где там это сидит? Ну, побежали дальше. Было бы неплохо, чтобы ящики эти подсвечивались еще бы, ну, сдали бы. Чтобы пробегать, тыкать. Не каждый ящичек не надо было. Ага. Чем вы тут занимаетесь?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Лишних вопросов нету.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Everybody's afraid. Death has always been a frequent visitor. But murder? How can we cope with that?
As a nurse at this hospital, it is your duty to deal with these things as best you can.
Yeah. Until it's my turn to have blood spread all over the walls. I entered the room first, Dr. Reed. I've seen what that monster did to the woman.
Так,
Do you need medical help yourself, nurse?
I'm fine, really.
Поспать и надо.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Какая этот мужик где? А, головная боль. Кому помочь все-таки можем. Пойдем поможем ему. С головной болью. Ага, они с кем-то болтают.
It's locked.
Ты так послушать их нельзя, да? А как-то с другой... А, уходит. Как пошел?
Hello again, Mr. Blight. I'm happy to see Mr. Thatcher is safe.
I'm eternally grateful, Doctor. We were total strangers and you...
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... Well, you know.
Не понял.
The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we're in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
Ну, попробуем. Отличный вопрос.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. Couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you
Это
don't.
жестко.
You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald, He found me and saved me.
Do you need medical attention, sir?
No thanks, sir.
Так, отличные вопросы. Больше нечего задать.
Goodbye, Mr.
Значит, второго искать. Где второй пошел? Ему помощь нужна.
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you feel any better now?
Yes, this neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain air.
Красавчик.
Do you
Вылечим его.
need medical attention?
Don't get me wrong, sir. I'm grateful for what you've done, but I've never felt comfortable with doctors.
А что, у нас нет от головной боли? А, серьезно?
I will see you later. Mr. Thatcher, do you have a job?
No. Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand.
По-моему,
what
только
you mean.
синенькая и баночки
I was
никто.
a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Значит, еще надо какие-то лекарства эти. Ну, жестко.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
That's what the bloody doctors said. But I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital. I can't stand being closed in. Makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Oswald, why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about was their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
Личные вопросы.
Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then if you're so interested in my case.
Вас похоронили заживо.
When I rescued you, you expressed joy at seeing the sky again. So I'm inclined to believe you were trapped or buried somehow. Maybe during a shelling.
Jeez, you're good, Doc. You're really good.
Go on, please. Tell me more about it.
Newton and I were trapped in a circulation tunnel after an artillery attack. We were buried alive for several days without ever knowing.
Это очевидно, это не умно, это реально очевидно.
Oswald, tell me about what happened when you were buried in that tunnel with Newton.
It was more than dark. It was black as pitch. Hours seemed like days, and days like months. The terror, the shameful thoughts. Lord have mercy.
What you endured was terrifying. It would have completely destroyed weaker men.
It did not destroy Newton.
Shameful thoughts. Tell me about
Какие мысли?
At some point, I don't remember which day, but when I thought we'd never be rescued, that this would be our end, I thought about...
Say it, Mr. Thatcher. If you ever want to heal, you have to say it.
I thought about what I could do to survive. Just for a few more days.
А, типа убить, сожрать его?
Killing and eating him. The man I fucking love.
Ну это жестко.
Tell me about your true feelings for Newton.
I love him. I'm not ashamed to say it. He's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Ну такое тоже не
I can't
осуждаем.
imagine life without him.
Why should you be ashamed?
I'm not, I said. But Newton sees it differently.
I admire your honesty. It takes courage to stand up to society. The world needs people like you to create change.
Courage is what we needed in the trenches, looking death in the face every day. I speak plain. I speak my mind.
Have you always been this straightforward?
All I know is, before you saved me by the sewer, My only regret was I wouldn't be able to hold or kiss Newton again. I love him, that's all.
Все туда. Еще одна подсказка нужна.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Try to take
Надо,
care
потому что
of yourself.
два диалога открыл с этим. Со вторым. Кончил с этим. Второй.
I cannot enter.
А что, мы теперь с ним поболтать не можем никак? Неужели никак не пробраться? Игра не пускает. Сука, ну ладно. Рано или поздно это выбью. А чё тут?
Sometimes you act like a real jerk, you know that?
Come on, Ozzy, don't be like that.
What, like what? Like someone who felt betrayed by the man he loves? Did you ever even try to find me? Rescue me?
You know, it's not like that. I wanted to. I was so afraid to leave the hospital, not to be seen with you.
We survived this shit together. That's all that matters. I know you did your best.
Началось.
Fuck the war, right? And fuck them all. Fuck the war. Fuck them all.
Давай выходи, блондинчик. Блондинчик поболтает с этим лысиком. По-моему, с ним надо поболтать надо.
Good evening.
А нет, с этим мы болтали.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher.
Блондинчик нам нужен.
Try to take care of yourself. Hello again, Mr.
Good evening, Doc.
Да, вот два вопроса появилось.
How do you feel about Oswald Thatcher? You are more than friends, aren't you?
I love him. I love Oswald. We knew we wouldn't survive the war without each other. But I am terrified, Doctor.
What frightens you so much?
What if people find out? Oswald says I'm ashamed, but it ain't that. It's more, well, you know, I never thought I'd love a man.
Enjoy your love. And enjoy life as long as you can, Mr. Blight. Don't let anyone tell you who you should love or how you should love them.
I appreciate your kind words, sir. But it ain't that easy. It's all so new to me.
Так.
You and Oswald were buried alive during the war. Tell me about it.
Yeah. It was last summer. A shell hit our trench and we were buried for a week.
Oswald seemed far more traumatized than you by the event.
It wasn't the first time it happened to me. And surviving it again gave me strength. You believe that?
How did you survive for a week?
Luckily for us, there were rations and water in the tunnel. It was an outpost, see. Since then, Oswald's not keen on being inside for too long.
В принципе, с ним мы все закончили, у него все диалоги
Goodbye, Mr.
закончились.
Blight. Take care of yourself.
А по-моему, открылся еще последний диалог с тем, вторым, где он там стоит.
Good evening.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Ну да.
Newton is conflicted about his feelings towards you. Would you like to talk about it, Oswald?
It makes me sad and angry. It feels like the beautiful thing we have is somehow tainted. It hurts to see him so lost.
His love for you is genuine. I'm certain he wasn't lying to me when he expressed his feelings for you.
Newton still has to accept it, knowing he'll be seen as a queer, a fairy, less than a man in those simple-minded bigots' eyes. Though he's more of a man than they'll ever be, so fuck them all.
Кстати, тоже диалоги все
Goodbye,
закончились.
Mr. Thatcher.
Мы все ветку
Try to take care of
раскрыли. Нормально, чё. Пускай веселятся. Началось сразу. А какой левел? 17-й. А у человека уже огнестрел-то посерьезнее. Сам-то забавно, что я-то не прокачался никак. Я сильнее-то не стал, нифига. А мобы стали сильнее намного. А, нифига, дубинка-то неплохая. Оглушает хорошо. Да, дубинка намного лучше оглушает. А школа нам вообще не нужен теперь. Ну, это жестко. Нам куда туда надо идти. Пойдем стрелка замочим еще. Привет, мужик. В принципе, с одной комбо за всю выносливость мы убиваем его. Так. Нам куда-то туда прямо пробежать надо. Нам похоже надо... Нет, не надо вот под землей идти. Нам просто направо надо идти где-то. Стоит тут красавчик. На все равно что потратил. Там все священники, блин, стоят эти. Не, блин, дубинка хорошо глушает, прям вообще максимально классно. А за что я убиваю этих мобов-то? Я еще опыт получаю какой-то, нет? Да, не заморачивался, не смотрел. А как был 1200, так осталось 1280. По-моему, я вообще не получаю никакой опыт. Я начисляется только после окончания битвы. Нет? Нет. Потому что я их убиваю, это вообще никакого смысла. А нет, 15 опыта дали. То уже 3 моба, 15 мобов. 15 опыта. Ну это полная херня. Максимально. А, он тоже 2000 оглушается. По красоте. Это плохо. Жрем их. Максимум крови. Здоровяка заспамить надо. Отлично, здоровяка заспамили. Этим попроще будет. Сожрали. Еще ни о чем. Ну иди сюда. А я оглушающим ударом убил. Здоровяка разобрать. Там ящик стоит еще. Винты всякие. Не знаю, нужны они, не нужны пока. Снова собирать надо здесь. Как нельзя особо часто shift заюзать, потому что реально в любой момент может драка быть. А без выносливости прям вообще потерпаем. Я бы заставить текстурках, блин. Ну, в этой игре, где прыгать нельзя, да. Легко застрять в текстурках. Там, помню, босс, мы сдохли. Так что мы туда не пойдем. А сначала стрелка сверху убьем. А, гранаты кидает. Ну, какие-то гранаты непонятные. То ли оглушающие, то какие. А чё за бок держишься? Хорошо, всех зарубили нафиг. Ну, по луту так, более-менее подлутались. Торпец тут. Че наверху? Только шекали. А, помойка. Тут вампиры уже жрут. Какой левел вампир, интересно? А 17 нормально. Это терпимо. Фига он блочит, сука. Надо оглушить еще разок. Жрем его, пока оглушение. Жрем. Вот эти прям бронированные какие-то максимально. И хпшки прям вообще достаточно много. Сволочуги. Ну все, катаем. Так, ящичек лутануть. Спасти старика, победив скали. Какого старика спасти-то? Это босс? Необычный. Вот сволочь. Он просто от меня убегает. Пёс сдох. Сволочуга.
This is Braille. I need someone who can read this.
Письмо какое-то. Похилились. Кого старика спасти? Грубо говоря, под весь урон, да, нанес им? Все хорошо. Крови нету. Надо кровь, чтобы хпшку снять тебе. Сожрут нафиг. Тупо вынос, да, погорячился, блин. Реально был, знаете, выносливость отойти. А не тупо добивать его пытаться. Ну, опять. А здесь прям полностью не надо будет защищать заново все. Если будет заново все, блин, полностью, это прям печально. А дашь людей начинать? Пойдешь налево. Аж людей начинать заново убивать. Блин, это долго. Мобы-то тут не слабые, нифига. Так опираться больше нельзя. Значит, давай за этих мобов хотя бы уровень. Опыт. Точно так бы страшно было. Но опыт ни хера не дают. Мне только дают ништяки вот эти. Что падает? Это что, не факт, что мы не потеряли то, что мы поднимали до этого. Скорее всего, ничего не потеряли. И от тот момент будет сложно с этими вампирами. Ну да. Надо лишним не агрить. Лачуги. Ждем. За укус, в принципе, тоже неплохо бы поднять урон. Да, сволочь. Не хватает. Выносливости не хватает. Надо жрать его снова, просто восстанавливать. Фига он урон наносит. Жесть. Жесть, что такое сильное-то, блин? Сволочуга. Вот у Зампятина осталась там лоу хпшечка такая, блин, сейчас. Изи добьем, ага. Конечно, 2 атаки можно нанести с топора. А дальше надо бить, оглушать, кусать и опять бить. Типа, такой комбо можно играть. Ну-ка, да, 1 на 1. А с 3. А тут, наверное, можно подняться? Ну, прежде старика сначала спасем. Так, одного сожрали. Теперь на 5 нажимаем. По пол хп снесли этим. Вообще, даже у меня на удар не получим, походу. Красиво отделали в этот раз. Давай, дед. Ты кто такой, дед?
Are you all right, sir? What are you doing in a place like this?
I'm not sure that's any of your business.
I hope you realize that staying here will put your life at great risk.
Pah! I'm not afraid of these guards of Priwen, or whatever these thugs call themselves. I can still kick some respect into those youngsters.
I wasn't specifically referring to them, but are you really after these men? Why?
They took my boy! I've had no news since he joined that crazy gang. So I decided to come and find him myself, to get some answers.
I see. But as I said, your life is at risk if you stay here. And I'm not referring to the gangs either. You should leave, sir.
Well, this part of town used to be nicer, let's say.
Кстати, должно быть, некоторых, на некоторых улицах становится безопаснее, по идее, должно быть. Когда мы спасаем-то людей. Он какое-то поселение примкнет, по идее. Надо полутаться. Шекели. Что, здание многоэтажное? Сундук. Трупец.
There is a name engraved under the blood on the back of the case. Jack Gillingham. Maybe I should return this watch to his family.
Так, все. Все забрали, пошли дальше. Какое-то расследование еще открыли. Походу, один из этих голубых братьев. Или вот этого мы открыли расследование, так и не понял. Там, не, там вроде темненький. Не он.
Young man, I am perfectly capable of defending my...
Нет, не у него. Ладно, идем дальше. Слушай, Радит хочет, чтобы мы тут прям. В 30 метрах. Найти Шона в доках. А нам туда надо было. Ты Шон.
Good evening, sir.
Who the fuck are you? Don't you see I'm busy here?
Dr. Jonathan Reed, that's who I am. And who are you?
Ah, some fancy gentleman we've got here. Clear off. We don't want strangers on our streets.
So you won't tell me your name, then?
The name is Booth Digby. Maybe I'll ask my boys to break one or two of your bones, just so you remember it.
Are you some kind of vigilante patrolling these streets at night?
Something like that, but the police aren't in charge here. We are, see?
So you're a concerned criminal, is that it?
Using funny jokes about me and my boys, are you? Fuck. You must have some balls.
I saw many men like you during the war, Mr. Digby. Greedy little cockroaches who feed on despair.
I could kill you for saying that. But, nah. You've been a soldier. I can respect that.
So, tell me about your gang, then.
What? You got a death wish? You really want me to answer that?
Well, yes. You seem so proud of your status. Why not tell me who you're working for?
Oi, I'm the boss, right? The Wet Boot Boys work for me. All of them. Situation round here is better than other districts because of us. Because of me.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
Things ain't that bad, thanks to us. We give people what they need, and we control this borough.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. People are still dying here, like everywhere else.
Yeah, well, we can't be everywhere all the time. And Edwina says if we can find more guns, we could be more efficient.
More efficient? Really? You should probably tell Edwina that guns are useless against diseases and infections.
Incredible. You know what? You're lucky she can't hear you right now. She's more smart than patient. My sweet queen of the docks.
Так. Задать личные вопросы. Подсказок каких нету.
Do you know where I can find Sean Hampton? I need to talk to him.
The sad saint. Why on earth do you want to talk to him?
He was one of my patients at the Pembroke Hospital.
Oh, yeah. I heard the poor bastard had been abducted by some cut. You better ask Tom Watts. He knows Sean Hampton well.
Goodbye, Mr. Digby.
Даже нет, его смотреть надо еще.
You again.
Do you need medical help, sir?
I feel fine, Dr. Reed.
Все, хорошо, так хорошо.
Goodbye, Mr. Digby.
Так. Где люди? В какой стороне-то? Окс. Ну, привет.
Good evening, miss. I am Dr. Reed. May I ask you a few questions?
Who are you? What do you want?
As I just told you, I'm a doctor. From the Pembroke Hospital, actually.
The Pembroke Hospital, you say? I don't have any money for you leeches.
I'm not here for charity, Miss...
Miss Edwina Cox. So what do you want then? Fancy buying something
Торговка.
from me, maybe?
Ну да, торговка.
What can you tell me about your work?
I'm a businesswoman. I buy and sell things, and I send my wet boot boys after anyone who don't play nice with me.
Gang member and shopkeeper. Can't be easy running double shifts.
If you're interested, I may find use of a doctor who can freely walk across the city, you know.
I'm not interested in a career in the criminal underworld, Miss Cox.
Fair enough. Stay away from us then, if you don't want to get hurt, or worse.
Since my return from the war, I don't feel that concerned by threats, knives, or even bullets, if you must know.
That's exactly what that stupid trade unionist claimed after he attacked one of us. Booth and I reminded him a bullet beats words every time.
Вот мы болтать
You're quite blunt, aren't you?
I like people who know what they want and say what they think. This is a time of great opportunity for those ready to embrace their destiny.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
You can't trust anyone around here. As soon as you lower your guard, you can be sure some arsehole will take advantage of you.
Really? Don't you think that's a little bit excessive?
Bastards, all of them. This region only responds to violence and threats.
You sound like you're thinking of somebody in particular.
Take the gravediggers of Southwark. They must pay me every week, but it looks like they forgot who gave them permission to steal from the dead.
Looting corpses in a mass grave. That is a new low.
Whatever. Hey, since you're a doctor and all, maybe you can access that forbidden area and remind those bastards what they owe.
Ну, расследование.
You still use your husband's name, Edwina. Why is that?
Why shouldn't I? He may be a bloody bastard, but I'm still his wife and his name means something round here.
Are you aware of what happened to him?
Yes. I'm sure he fought till the end and looked death in the eyes. The boys will mourn him. Except one of them, maybe.
Так, отличные вопросы.
Booth Digby looks at you with love-struck eyes. Tell me, Edwina, is the feeling mutual?
You have no idea how refreshing it can be for a woman to receive all the pleasure she needs. For once.
I'll take your word for it.
What is it, Doctor? A woman's not supposed to talk about these things.
Behind all your crude words and your attitude, I sense romance and a soft heart, Miss Cox.
Romance? I have no time for such rubbish. I use Booth like I use everyone else.
Подсказка не сработала.
Tell me about the man you and Booth killed, Edwina.
The bastard killed one of us and received retribution. There's nothing else to say.
And your conscience is clear. You kill without hesitation.
Violence is an efficient tool, Dr. Reed, when used properly.
So you decide who lives and who dies, just like that.
Yes, Doctor. Just like that. I'm not saying it's fair.
Как
I'm
глупо,
saying
кстати,
it's my
реально,
way
что
of dealing with troublemakers.
за этот второй вопрос
What
можно
happened
просрать
exactly?
I don't know, and I
подсказку.
don't care. One of ours was killed by that communist bastard, but he didn't brag for long.
So you have no idea what really happened, but you executed him anyway.
No one messes with the Wet Boot Boys, Doctor. This is our territory, and this is our law.
Так, мы это
Can
смотрим.
I offer you my medical help, Miss Cox?
I'm fine, thank you.
Здорово, так здорово. Личные вопросы.
Tell me about the man you and Booth killed, Edwina.
The bastard killed one of us and received retribution. There's nothing else to say.
Так,
I'm looking for Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where I could find him?
The sad saint? I heard he was mugged or something.
Yes, he was. But he left hospital recently.
You don't say. Well, I suppose it's good news for the homeless and the useless. Ask them, they must know something.
А что продаешь-то у нас?
As long as you have money, I'll show you all I have.
Это для крафта оружия. Максим, не надо сейчас крафт оружия. Где твой муженек?
Tell me about the man you killed, Booth. What happened?
One of us had been killed, so we had to retaliate. That's the whole story.
There has to be more to it than that.
No, really, one of us got killed, so the killer had to die. That's how things have always been done round here. No one gives a shit.
Don't you see it's an endless spiral? One day, it will be you who will be stabbed, or shot, or worse.
That's what my sweet Edwina always says, that one day I'll get it too. But she says it with the most beautiful smile, my Edwina.
Goodbye, Mr. Digby.
Больше ничего сделать нельзя. Тут еще есть. Ничего людей.
Good evening, sir.
Whatever.
Don't you recognize me? We met a few nights ago.
Don't take it personally. I spent a lot of energy forgetting what I did the night before.
Yes, you had definitely drunk too much then as well. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Dyson Delaney. I'll try to remember you this time.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Delaney?
I drink. I drink in the morning.
Нормально зарабатывает бухлом.
I drink at night, and then I drink some more.
Why do you drink so much?
Maybe it's because I prefer dying slowly. Death can be so abrupt. Personally, I like to see mine coming at my own pace.
You sound very sad.
That's because I am Doc.
Don't you work at all?
I'd love to, but I don't have the time. Didn't I tell you?
Ну,
Drink
алкаш.
in the morning and
Один
at
день
noon.
берет на
I
алкашку,
drink at
интересно.
night.
Is there anything in particular that you like about this part of town? Except for the cheap drinks, I mean.
How dare you say such a thing? I love this neighborhood. So friendly, so joyful.
No reason at all to rejoice, then? Life is hopeless and then we die, is that it?
Let me tell you a story.
All right. Go on.
A few years ago, when I believed a resolute man could change things around here for good, a tragedy occurred nearby.
What kind of tragedy?
It was a bomb. Bomb that exploded and killed many people.
Война.
Metal and blood everywhere. Shouts, fire, broken window of the shoe shop, the torn street light.
You lost people you loved that day, didn't you?
I've lost everything. But you know what the worst part is? I don't even remember where it happened. I've drunk so much to forget it. And now I can't remember where it was. I can't pay my homage to the dead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Delaney.
It's okay. If you ever find the place, just leave a flower for me there. Even if you tell me where it is. I'm not sure I'd memorize it.
Is there anything... No reason at all to rejoice, then?
Let me...
Это мы спрашивали. О.
Another time, perhaps. I'm not sure I want... Is there...
Право ветку еще не
Why are you
спрашивали.
so cynical?
Cynicism is the polite way to express despair, Doctor.
А, и все, что ли? Личные вопросы есть какие-то?
Surely you must have had dreams and expectations when you were young, like everybody else.
Sure. I wanted things to change. To really change, and to change for good. The bigger the dream, the harder the fall.
Sounds like you were an idealist, which is honorable.
No, sir. I was an anarchist, and I believed that exclusive property is a robbery in nature. I wanted a new world to rise from the ashes, Dr. Reed.
Do you really think the world is that bad?
No, I believe we all can choose to make it better. But most of us are too weak, too corrupt and too guilty. I failed for sure, but others will come.
I want to know more about your past as an anarchist, Dyson.
I'm still an anarchist, Doctor, make no mistake. I just reject violence as a tool to change the world, unlike my comrades.
Do you still see your comrades, then? Even if you don't agree with their methods anymore, I mean.
No. I hope they'll come to share my point of view one day. I'll raise my glass to that splendid idea.
Do you believe in a bloodless revolution, then?
I do not believe in much anymore, Doctor. But I'll admit I like your idea of peaceful change. I like it a lot.
Так.
I'm looking for Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where I could find him?
I really don't know. I heard he'd been abducted. I don't know if he's back.
Who could tell me then?
About the sad saint. I try asking Tom what's about him.
Окей, только к нему надо идти.
Goodbye,
Подожди. Может, ему от головной боли
What?
таблетка нужна?
Inebriation aside, do you need medical help?
Yes. I feel sicker than usual these days.
У нас лекарства есть. Ну,
Take
держи.
this, then. And perhaps you could try to slow down the alcohol intake too.
Hey, Doc, you don't really want me to stop the only
Переутомление.
remedy I can afford.
Ну все.
Goodbye, Mr. Delaney.
Тут, по идее, это, здоровье должно подняться. Ты кто такой?
Good evening, sir. Have you witnessed any suspicious activity or strange events recently?
And what do you define as a strange event? More to the point, who are you?
My name is Ichabod Throgmorton, vampire
Это ты имя,
hunter
конечно, с фамилией у него.
extraordinaire and warden of the East End.
A vampire hunter? Really?
I know what you're thinking. I'm just another lunatic howling at the moon, but I'm not. The bloodsuckers exist, and they're close.
Mr. Throgmorton, I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'd like to hear more about these vampires you're hunting.
A man of science? Well, I'll be glad to enlighten you.
Там диалог, кто если посмотрим,
You
помочь
need my
всем.
medical attention, sir.
I appreciate your concern, but I'm perfectly fine,
В
thank you.
порядке, окей. Ну погнали.
What can...
Допрашивать его нафиг. Подожди, а что опять случилось? Чего черный экран?
You tell me about this neighborhood.
Did you hear about what happened to Jack Gillingham? Oh boy. It's a shame I wasn't around to protect him.
It's impossible to protect everyone. The violence seems endemic in this part of town.
But it's my duty. I am convinced Jack Gillingham was killed by a vampire. These evil rodents are spreading like a plague.
So, how exactly are you protecting these people? I'm curious.
I patrol late at night, investigating anything unusual. I try and encourage people to stay indoors, but people are careless.
Вам нужна помощь? Как отличить вампира?
How do you identify a vampire?
It's simple, really. They can't stand daylight. They're afraid of garlic and holy symbols. They also cannot enter a house without being invited.
Have you ever killed one of these creatures? Yourself, I mean.
Of course I have. What kind of question is that? It's a dirty business, believe me.
Что-то кажется, он врет нам. Не убивал никого.
Can I help in any way?
Actually, yes. I plan to put up posters to alert the population to the vampire threat.
Are you asking me to paste posters about vampires around the docks?
If you wouldn't mind. If you did that, then I can focus on my patrols.
Так, тут подсказки нужны. Личный вопрос есть какой-нибудь?
Have you heard of the Guard of Priwen?
Of course. They're dedicated hunters. A little militant for my taste, but they do let anyone join.
Were you ever tempted to join the Guard yourself?
I did think about it, but I'm more of a silent hunter. They're more of a sanitary militia.
So you hunt alone? That sounds risky.
Vampires are just like every other predator. They hunt when they're hungry and follow certain patterns. It's just a matter of observation and patience.
Так, личные вопросы все задали. Тут нужна подсказка.
I'm
Просто
looking
про
for
него.
Sean Hampton. Can you help me, Mr. Throgmorton?
The sad saint? He should be at his night asylum at this hour. But I cannot tell you how to find it, sorry.
Really? Why is that?
It's nothing personal, Doctor. I'm sure your intentions are good, but people who sleep there, they have plenty of reasons to hide.
Maybe at least you can tell me who could help me find him.
Tell you what, go and chat with Tom Watts. He's a bartender and good judge of character. If he talks to you, then it's fine by me.
I could make you tell me, but I respect your refusal. You really believe Sean is a saint, don't you?
All I will say is this. Gossip has it that when he was a child, he was molested. By a priest of all people. Funny thing is, though, it only strengthened his faith.
Ага. Так, тут новые не появились. Тут не появились. Мы досмотрим, спрашивали, не нужно ничего. Goodbye. Турпец. А турпец можно смотреть?
Not a drop of blood left in his body. This is the work of a vampire.
Вампир. А, это мы вернулись опять в это заведение. Это алкаш?
Good evening, Mr. What? Goodbye,
Да.
Mr.
Алкаш нам не интересует, нам это что это?
Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, sir. How are you tonight? Back to the docks, are we?
You remember me then?
Of course I do. You're that man who seemed so lost when he entered my bar a few nights ago.
Thank you for your hospitality. I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way.
I'm still Tom Watts. Welcome back, Doctor.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
It's not that bad. Thanks to people like the sad saint of the East End.
Who?
Sean Hampton, our own
Мне очень
private
расстраивает, что
holy
тут не
figure.
дают опыт за
Few are foolish enough to make peace
за
with the
убийство
gangs.
вампиров этих. Потому что
Sean
они
is
спавнятся,
one
а
of
смысл какой с них? Только лутать эти всякие клиенты, это
How is it
получается.
you can keep
Это
this
полная
place
херня.
open? This part of town
Потому что они с
doesn't
каждым
seem
разом становятся
particularly
сильнее.
safe.
Well, since everybody needs a
Я
drink,
сильнее не
my
становлюсь,
pub is
пока не пойду,
considered
не
neutral
прокачаюсь.
ground by most groups.
А если какой-то предел все-таки есть?
I see.
Какой уровень докачаться
So
они
you
могут.
get pressure from all sides about
Это
how
будет
this place should be
бессмысленно.
run.
Потому что они будут, скажут, сильнее становиться, а я буду, ну, какой-то
Nothing but a
максимум
few
достигну и
wise
все.
words and a bottle of gin can't
Сильнее не
solve.
стану с этого.
You're something of a figurehead around here.
I'm only pouring alcohol for everyone to forget their troubles. Sean Hampton is the one giving them long-term hope.
Since I'm here, is there anything I can do?
Perhaps, Doctor. Peace partly depends on my stock of gin. With the epidemic, my supplies are running low.
How could a physician help you in this matter?
I have a small warehouse just past the quarantine line. Perhaps, with you being a doctor, you could go there and come back.
Но задание
Doctors
дает.
aren't immune to disease, you know. Very well. Show me where it is.
Новое
I'll see
расследование.
what I can do.
Oh, thank you, sir. Here's the key to get in. You're about to save many dry throats.
Угу. Так, задать личные вопросы. Пока ничего не открыто.
Tom, I need to find Sean Hampton as quickly as possible. I've been told you could help me.
I heard the sad saint was recovering at Pembroke Hospital. Did he leave or something?
I believe he returned to his flock. Can you confirm that?
Oh, I bet you're right. Sean can't help but worry about the poor and sick. Oh, I guess it has something to do with what happened to him as a baby.
Please, tell me.
Well, I don't like to gossip, but I heard that the sad saint was abandoned as a baby in front of a Catholic orphanage in Dublin. That would explain his faith and need to help everyone.
Всем помогать, нифига себе.
The important thing is I find him. Quickly.
Why not try his night asylum? He takes care of those who need a meal or a roof there.
Where is it?
It's in an old warehouse, northwest of here. Just follow the bank to the west and go north when you reach the end of the pier.
Это пойдем в следующей серии уже. На все диалоги тут в этом порту закончим.
Do you
Сегодня
need any
закончим
help?
I'm all right,
с
Dr.
игрушечкой.
Reed.
На перерыв пойдем.
Goodbye, Mr. Watts.
Тут что, служанка должна быть? Это у нее, может, новенькая появилась.
Well, I never. That's a first. Customers who make that much mess rarely come back. Never mind in fancy togs.
I'm much more myself than when we first met. By the way, I'm Jonathan, Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Welcome back to the Turquoise Turtle then, Doctor. I'm Sabrina Cavendish. How can I help you?
Так.
What can you tell me about this area?
People don't appreciate that line of questioning round here. You best be more careful with what you say, sir.
You look concerned, Miss Cavendish.
This is a bad borough. Most people I know are afraid. Most locals will rob you blind, or worse. You best mind your step.
Новый диалог.
So you and your friends all feel in danger? No exceptions?
Tom's the only exception I've come across until now. But he's not like everybody else.
Так, подожди, о пабе мы спросили.
This place seems, how shall I put it, very colorful. I'm sure it has plenty of stories to tell.
We get people of all sorts here. It's that rare place in the docks where you can have a drink without being murdered. At least it's not happened yet.
So this bar is neutral territory then?
Yeah. Tom's convinced this is something the locals need. No one ever draws a weapon here. That's one of the reasons I accepted the job.
Your boss must be quite the negotiator to force such an agreement.
Yeah. Tom's a great bloke. Mr. Hampton, who runs the night asylum, he's the only other man that's able to keep peace around here.
Подсказка нужна, личные вопросы. Откуда?
Excuse my curiosity, but where
Ну,
exactly
явно
are you from?
не с
Miss
Англии.
Cavendish?
Something bothering you? What, my name? Or my complexion?
Да,
Believe
не
me, I never judge someone on their place of birth or the color of their skin.
If that's true, you'd be one of the few not to make fun of me. Just you, Tom, Dyson, Miss Fishburne, and of course Mr. Hampton.
I'm sorry if I worried you. I was just curious to find out if you know this part of town well.
Nosy. My dad was a sailor from Bombay, and my mum was a maid born up in Glasgow. They got married in London. And here I am.
Так, подсказки больше нету. Давайте сначала медосмотр.
Do you require medical assistance, Miss Cavendish?
I'm fine, sir. Just have too much work on and not...
Угу, просто
Miss
работает.
Cavendish, would you be willing to help me locate Sean Hampton?
You better ask Tom, sir.
Why not answer me directly?
We respect the privacy of our customers here, sir. Only Tom can decide who to speak to and what he'll say
Ну,
to
с
them.
Томом понятно. Мы же не поговорили, он сказал,
Goodbye,
куда
Miss
вообще.
Cavendish.
Сам надо было диалог этот сделать, потому что нам опыта, может, побольше дадут. А, хорошо, пошли наверх дойдем. Какая-то ночлежка тут есть. Пробежимся, посмотрим. А, тут сейчас можно наверх подняться, нифига себе. Не можно что подлутать, я подлутаю. А, это... Мы вернулись туда, откуда мы и пришли, да? Вот по кругу прошли. Немножко подлутали. Тут нету сохранения, блин. Комнатку сохранения бы. Ну, я помню, она где-то сверху вот тут. Там сохранение есть. Пойдем, сохранимся. И закончим на этом сегодня. Пополнить все. Выполнять нечего. Сохраняемся. Сейчас прокачаем левелы. Сейчас сможем. Так, ну, в принципе, можем прокачать все, что у нас вкачано. Кроме сверхсилы. Так, это на копье прокачал. До второго левела бы, наверное. Тут копьем периодически пользуемся. Или больше за укус урон. Потому что урон с укусом мы тоже достаточно часто. Да, копье прокачаем на второй левел. Не понял. А, нам не хватает. Понял. Тогда качаем укус. 400 урона. Дали их крови за укус. Ну, получается, все. Да, нам больше ничего не хватает. Мы открыть только можно науку. Увеличить число патронов, которые вы можете носить с собой. Или сыворотки. Вот здесь можно прокачать тоже, пусть будет. Окей. И на этом мы сегодня завершим. Что тут получилось, посмотрим. А мы не вылечили какого-то деда. Нам, по-моему, головная боль ему нужна. Да, головная боль, то что у нас нет ее. А, нам неизвестно, что ему надо. Понял. Этому головная боль нужна. Мы тут всех знаем теперь в этом больнице, кроме того, кого мы убили. мужичка. Здесь мы много кого еще не знаем. В порту. А что случилось? Что, критическое? Переутомление. Септис. Нам, конечно, надо идти на Утчел. Тут всех лечить нафиг тут. И мигрени. Тут прямо сейчас все сильно больные. Эту локацию мы вообще не знаем даже. Это прям критическая. А, то можно дойти до враждебного, нифига себе. Тут стабильно. Тут здоровье. А что делать с этой, короче, локацией? Будем разбираться в следующей серии. Что тут да как. А пока на этом все. Завершим. Всем смотрел стрим до конца. Всем пока.